3,000 is a weird number. On Craigslist, this quote-unquote low-mileage 2003 Honda Civic is on sale for a bit more than $3,000. On the other side of the spectrum, the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, Earth's tallest structure, stands at only 2,716 feet tall. In the realm of baseball, 3,000 is an impressive number in almost every context. From the most important stats to the smallest tracked figures, doing the same thing at least 3,000 times in baseball is either the game's most pure form of insanity, or it will inspire baseball nerds in their bedrooms to make video essays about these accomplishments. One of the most impressive achievements in all of baseball is batting at such a consistent rate, you register over 3,000 base hits. Reaching this number will leave one's mark on the game and be remembered forever. And for good reason. It's hard as shit to do. Out of the over 22,000 players to have ever played in the major leagues, only 33 have notched hit number 3,000. While far from being a sabermetric wizard skilled in the mystical arts of complicated stats and formulas, our narrator did do some basic middle school level math to break down how consistent a player needs to be to reach at least 3,000 hits. Using the whole litany of baseball resources available online, that wasn't just the narrator doing a simple Google search. A list was assembled of all the players with 3,000 or more hits, the date it happened on, the team they were on, and whom they got the hit off of. Spread out over an 11-year range, a third of the players reached 3,000 hits right before their 40th birthday at age 39. Stepping back a little bit further, we can see 27 of the 33 players reached it between their 37th and 41st birthday. Age alone does not fully illustrate how long it takes for a hitter to reach the milestone though. In this second chart shown are the numbers of seasons it took for a player to get to 3,000. Not every player reaches the major leagues at the same age, making it very important to look at the number of seasons the players were active in. Here, we can see 21 of the 33 players reach the summit in their 18th, 19th, or 20th season in the league. The average age at which a player reached their 3,000th hit was at 39 years old, with the average seasons being played roughly about 18 3/4 of a season. As each player reached the mark at a different number of games played, a full chart to illustrate this would have been too chaotic to be useful. Nonetheless, this number, on average, came out to the 3,000th hit happening during the 2,565th game played in a career. 3,000 hits divided by 2,565 games played equals about 1.17 registered hits per game. While Cal Ripken Jr. does represent a member of the 3,000 hit club, not everyone is an Iron Man with a record for consecutive games played. For this, let's take the average games played of 2,565 and divide it by the average seasons it took to reach 3,000, which for this calculation, 18.75 is being used. This comes out to an average of 137 games played per season. 1.17 hits per game multiplied by the average games played per season of 137 comes out to roughly 160 hits per season. Finally, the 160 hits per season is multiplied by the average number of seasons played, 18.75 being used, and what is the final calculation? Hopefully over 3,000. To put this in perspective, if the next member of the 3,000 hit club were to have just become a Major League Baseball player and embarks on the most average ascent to the peak of 3,000 hits, it would take them just about 18 3/4 of a season, playing in at least 135 games each of those seasons, and rarely leaving a game without at least one hit on their scorecard. Some of the game's greatest, most legendary players in history never reached this milestone. This group of 33 players are a cast of eccentric icons, all with their own unique legacies. Sometimes these legacies are to the game of baseball. Sometimes these legacies branch out and affect the world around them. This series is about a few of these players. Welcome to the 3000 Club. It's the start of 2021, early wintertime, with the end of last year's baseball season crescendoing on the Minnesota Twins pushing record for most consecutive postseason defeats. A feeling washed over me. Staring into my cat's eyes, I ask him, why is this happening? How is this possible? The odds of losing 18 games in a row put together should result in a lottery jackpot, not a record dating back over 20 Call of Duty games. I did what every sensible fan of a franchise in this position does. I looked to the future with a bright glimmer of hope and knew that sunnier days were right around the corner. Instead, I peered back in time before the start of the streak. Growing up, I had many happy memories going to games at the aging and uncomfy plastic seat oasis christened the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome. Calling back to that time while watching old clips of the team's successful years, a few noteworthy events stood out to me. An oddly large number of these legendary players registered their 3,000th hit on the field here in Minnesota. In the entirety of baseball, this event has only happened a few more than 30 times. Was it a bias of having watched more Twins clips over other teams that gave me this impression? After counting it up and triple checking my work, I came across my life-changing revelation. I was right. Of those 33 players in the 3000 hit club, 6 of them, almost a fifth in history, had their 3,000th hit recorded in front of the Minnesota Twins franchise. Some of these players are city icons. Others found themselves in locker rooms across the league. However, all of these stories contribute to the modern-day game of baseball. Our expedition follows these selected few on their journeys to creating these long-lasting legacies in baseball's history. Join us in episode 1 as we talk about a rambling, gambling Texan cowboy with a story involving legendary catches, 1920 political corruption, and news reporters storming a grape farmer's house. See you soon, partner.